All right, y'all, so let's talk real quick about what it's been like to have Viridian St. Augustine, also called ProVista in Texas. Let's talk about what it's been like to have it now going on year 2.
I think the first and biggest thing everybody notices is that the ProVista right here, Viridian, it's darker green than the traditional St. Augustine over there, which in my case is Floratam. Both of these have been fertilized. They're looking good. That this grass is so much darker green. And that's really what most of you are going to care about.
It's really nice to have a grass that is dark green out of the box. Now, when you fertilize it, it does get darker green, but it's just nice to have grass that's already dark green and already looks good. And the neighbors stop by and ask, what are you doing to your grass? And I just have to tell them, it just came that way. Now, something else that kind of goes along with that is the growth nature. It is a slower grower. The Viridian, the ProVista, it grows slower than traditional St. Augustine grass. Now, that's good for those of us that like to fertilize, because I can fertilize this grass as much as I want and it's not gonna get overgrown. I often will hear from landscape professionals, and one of the things that they don't like, especially with Floratam, is if they fertilize it, it overgrows and it grows super fast, especially if they fertilize it in the summer. And what that can do is it can cause rough mows. It can cause clumping when they're mowing. It's just more to clean up. So that's a good thing, especially if you're a lawn care operator and you have Viridian or ProVista and it's fertilized, it's not gonna overgrow. It's like a built-in growth regulator, and that's a positive. Now, in that same vein though, a lot of times lawn care operators will say, well, Alan, if I have this installed at one of my properties, I'm not gonna be able to mow it as often, and so it's gonna affect my revenue. And that's a little bit of a misnomer as well. This grass still needs to be mowed every week. The difference is though, is if you get an equipment breakdown or you have to get rained out or something, it's not gonna be overgrown when you do finally get to it. And it grows at a rate, again, that needs to be mowed every week, but it kind of stops. So after about 6 or 7 days of growth, it just doesn't grow anymore. I actually did a little experiment over here that I put in another video in case you missed it. And I don't know if you can you see the mower tracks right there? So what I did 5 days ago, at the same time that I cut that, I mowed one strip right down through there. And you can actually see in this clip right here, I was filming a video for a lawnmower. You can see in the background, you can see that one strip that is cut. That was cut 5 days ago, and this is what I want to show you. So where are we at? Maybe 4.5 to 5, something like that? Maybe a little less than 4.5, but we're not. But what we're not is we're not far off from the area over there that hasn't been mowed for 13 days. And that's what I wanted you to see. So that area over there hasn't been mowed for 13 days. And this little strip right here hasn't been mowed for 5 days, but they're very close to the same height. So as you can see, this grass, the Viridian, the ProVista, it does still need to be mowed every week. It's just not gonna get away from you. And for homeowners, that's great too. We get busy, especially in the summer. You know, you got your kids in sports, your travel ball on the weekends, whatever you're doing. You're not gonna have to worry about, man, I gotta get back, I'm tired, it's 6 o'clock on Sunday night, and I gotta get out and mow the grass. No, you can let it wait till Tuesday, do a little weeknight lawn work, something like that. The grass will not get overgrown. The other thing is the weed control. It is glyphosate tolerant. Glyphosate is a non-selective herbicide, meaning it's not selective about what it kills. It kills pretty much everything. You can never use that in any other grass. You just can't. It will kill your grass. It'll kill all the weeds. It'll kill all the grass. It'll kill everything. But the way that the Scotts company has done this is they have bred this grass to be glyphosate tolerant, which means now you have that as an additional tool to get rid of those weeds that you can't in other cases. So for example, again, with other St. Augustine grass, common Bermuda, there is a combination that's out now that you can use. It's an expensive combination of active ingredients that you can get to get rid of Bermuda, common Bermuda in your St. Augustine grass. But why go to all that trouble when with the Viridian and the ProVista, you can just use glyphosate, which is easy to find, it's cheap. You mix it up at 1.5 ounces per gallon, you spot spray out or spray out wherever the common Bermuda is and it's gone. But now there are other common weedy grasses that get into St. Augustine that there is absolutely nothing for. There's no selective herbicide to get rid of them in Floratam. I'm talking about tropical signal grass, and the big one is torpedo grass. I actually had torpedo grass invade this new lawn last year. I installed it in December of 2024. The sod came in really green. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the sod came in real nice, got established. But anytime that you rip up old grass and put in new, anything that's underneath there is now able to take a foothold. And I can tell you right now, I have tropical signal grass running under all of this lawn here. It'll pop up in my flower beds.
Tropical signal grass will crawl into the street, pop up in your neighbor's lawn. It's got long rhizomes. It's a scourge, and it's underneath all of this. My thick grass will help to keep it out, but when I ripped everything up and sodded, it allowed it to get a foothold, and it actually got in pretty bad in here last year, to where in the fall I had to blanket spray with glyphosate and get rid of it all, and I don't see any of it back this year. So that is one of those reasons why having glyphosate as a tool is super important. Now, you can use any other weed control on this. I got a weed right there, look at that. Some alligator weed right there. You can use any other weed control on this that can be used on traditional St. Augustine, so Celsius, you know, Avenue South, which is Image for Southern Lawns. You can use that on the ProVista Viridian if you want to, and just use the glyphosate when you absolutely need it. One thing I will caution you about though with glyphosate is it does stunt the growth, and so you have to be careful when you use it. Let me show you out at the land. I spot sprayed a couple spots. Let me show you what they look like. And so this is my ProVista out here at the land, and I don't know, can you see that there's a low spot right there where it's not growing quite as fast? That's because there was a weed there that I sprayed with the glyphosate, and it stunted the growth, and it hasn't come back yet. And this has been about 2 weeks. So that is one of the things, the glyphosate does stunt the growth, and so you'll just have to understand that when you're spraying. Here's another couple spots right here. By the way, don't worry about this white PVC pipe right here. I'm doing some testing with some liquid iron, which doesn't really make a big difference in this grass because of how dark green it is already. But anyway, we'll get to that later. But you can see here another couple spots that are just a little stunted. I mean, they're growing, but they're just growing slower as that grass right there is kind of recovering from the stunting of the glyphosate. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing because a lot of weed controls will do that. Celsius, which is a weed control we use in summer on all St. Augustine grasses, which can be used also on the Viridian here. Celsius will do the same thing. It will stunt the growth. So weed control stunting growth of grass, it's pretty normal, but it's just something to expect. Now, personally, I'd still rather have the tool of glyphosate to get rid of weeds like common Bermuda, signal grass, you know, torpedo grass. I'd still rather have that tool and deal with a little bit of stunting of growth than to not have it at all. And again, a lot of weed controls will do that, so that's nothing unexpected. But what it does tell me is I don't want to blanket spray my lawn, especially if it's late in the season when the grass is already starting to slow down. You don't want to blanket spray at that time because then you'll stunt it when it's going into its low growth period, and it might stay stunted for quite a bit longer. So if you are going to use glyphosate or Celsius or any other weed control that can stunt the growth of this grass, you're going to want to do it earlier in the season. So anytime up through August when it's in its peak growth would be fine. Any other time of the year, just spot spray so that stunting, it won't be as evident. Now, we're just going to continue talking about weeds here. Let's talk about turf density. You know, honestly, the best way to keep weeds out of your lawn, especially a St. Augustine lawn, is with a thick turf stand. The magic of St. Augustine grass, people don't like it because it's crunchy. I always say that St. Augustine grass, this is any St. Augustine grass, it's not meant to be enjoyed, it's meant to be admired. I mean, you're not out playing ball on this grass, you're not really going barefoot in it. You can, and people in Florida do, but it doesn't feel like Kentucky bluegrass under your feet. It just doesn't. But the thing about it is, with its growth nature, it's so thick and it stacks up. Those stolons, they're above ground runners, they stack up and they weave together in this tight net or carpet. And what that does, and then it stacks up, and people will think it's spongy and it needs to be dethatched. No, that's just how this grass grows. Well, what that does is it keeps weeds out because it's just so dense. There's no room for them to grow in here, except in the case of that little alligator weed over there. So this grass, the ProVista, the Viridian, because it has a compact growth nature, it actually spends more of its energy in lateral growth and getting tighter and getting thicker. And you can feel it when you walk on it. I won't be able to illustrate that here in a video, but you can feel when you walk on it. It's not hard or anything. It's not harder than any other grass, but it's just more dense. And that is because, again, it's not putting as much energy into top growth, it's putting more into lateral growth. So when it does come to weeds in general, without having to use any kind of herbicides, this grass has got that nice, dense thickness that's gonna keep weeds out. And another thing that's important to address is the rooting, especially if you're going to be sodding during the winter. A lot of you won't have a choice. If you just moved into a house, you have new construction, something like that, and it's the middle of winter, they're gonna require sod down, even if it's dormant, in order to get your certificate of occupancy. They do that for erosion control, typically. And putting sod down that's dormant, it can be scary. I did it this year in January, and a lot of folks were telling me, I don't think that's gonna come back. But again, it's just dormant. but you do want a sod that's gonna root in faster. And what I noticed with the ProVista here, this is the Texas ProVista Viridian, is it rooted a lot faster than did the Floratam. All right, y'all, one thing we wanna check now is the rooting. It's been 2 weeks since the sod's been down, but we've been through some massive freezes here in Florida, so the color of the lawn hasn't really changed, and I actually had to stop watering for a couple 2-3 days while we went through those massive freezes. But I did wanna show you the rooting because it's kinda cool. So let's first go over here and look at the Floratam. Oh yeah, we got a little bit of roots there. See that? Nice. Check another spot. Yeah, a little bit. We're getting some rooting, so that's good. Plenty of soil moisture here, I can feel it. So a little bit of rooting on the Floratam. Let's next go over here to the Zoysia. Pull up a little spot. Shield myself from the sprinkler here. Nothing. Not one root. Check another spot. Maybe a little bit. See one right there? Can you see it? Maybe, man, just a couple poking through, but super, super slow. Now let's go check the Viridian. Oh man, I can't even pull it up hardly. Oh yeah, you see that? Oh, look at all those roots, John Perry. Look at that. Now, did it get growing and green as fast? About the same as the Floratam. That's the top growth, the top visual. But the rooting, which is the most important thing with new sod, was quite a bit faster with the ProVista, the Viridian. As far as watering goes, I haven't noticed too much of a difference in my Floratam and the Viridian here. They seem to need about the same amount of water. There is a big difference though. This grass has only been in here for almost 2 years now, whereas the Floratam, that's been in there for 20 years. So I don't know if it takes less water. I don't have any kind of visual evidence of that, but I can tell you it doesn't take any more water. Now, one thing I do have evidence of is gray leaf spot. Any of you that have St. Augustine grass, especially Floratam or palmetto's even worse, gray leaf spot can be really bad in the summer, especially as the humidity comes up like it is right now. I mean, palmetto, my palmetto, this used to be a palmetto lawn. It would get ravaged with gray leaf spot to the point where it caused visual damage, not just little spots on the leaves, but areas of the grass would underperform and it would have this grayish, kind of brownish gray cast to it. It got really bad. I will tell you that last year I did have some gray leaf spot in the Floratam. Now, it wasn't a terrible year for it, but I did have some there, but I didn't see any at all in the Viridian. And that is one of the things that is talked about quite often around this grass, is that it is a little bit more tolerant or less susceptible to gray leaf spot. So that's another little positive about it. The last thing I think you might ask about is how does it do in shade? Well, I don't have any personal experience with that because all the Viridian ProVista I'm growing is in direct sunlight. However, it just kind of makes sense. It stands to reason that it has a slower growth nature, so therefore it needs less sun. Now, it does great in full sun, but it would need less sun and to grow and to stay healthy and to not etiolate, which means to thin out. It needs less sun, so it should stay thicker in shade. Now, I know the Scotts folks, they've done some different things with shade, and they do say that it does tolerate shade well. Now, you got to think about it though. Saying I have a shady lawn, that's one of those things that's kind of up for opinion. And by the way, you know, how much shade do you have and what time of year is it? You know, as the sun moves in the sky, the shade composition of your lawn will change. Also, trees will shade the lawn, but a house will shade the lawn 100%, whereas trees allow some sunlight through. So saying does it grow in shade, that's just really tough to talk about on video. The other thing is, if you do have trees, a lot of times what thins grass out under trees is not just the shade, it's actually the competition with the roots from the tree. The tree is robbing all the nutrients and the water out of the soil, as well as there's salts that wash off the leaves when it rains, and those salts spoil the soil and thin the lawn out. So there's a lot of debate or a lot of things to think about when it comes to a shaded lawn and will this grass do well. But just in general, what the Scotts folks say is that Viridian and ProVista, they do tolerate shade very well. Now, yes, Scotts does sponsor me, so take this with a grain of salt. But do I recommend Viridian? Do I recommend ProVista? Yes, I do. I've actually been growing ProVista for many years now. I had it out at the Freedom Factory. I worked with it out there. That was 2.5 acres of ProVista. I've had this now, like I said, for almost 2 years. It's a great grass. The main reasons that I love it, for me, are three. Number one, the darker green color out of the box. I want to dominate the neighbors. I want my grass to be greener than everyone else's. Number two, I can throw down fertilizer on it. It's not going to overgrow. I like to fertilize. I like to apply nitrogen. Nitrogen drives the bus. I can hit this all I want. It's gonna stay green. It gets a little bit greener, you know, the whole thing, but it's not gonna overgrow on me. And then number 3, again, I do have that glyphosate tolerance. I can't stand the common Bermuda and the torpedo grass that comes in here. And I pretty much have the only clean lawn in my neighborhood because I can use glyphosate as a tool when I want to. So there you go, guys. There's my almost 2-year update here with the Viridian, with the ProVista. I'll give you links below to Scott over at Scotts if you want to get this for your lawn, or if you're a lawn care operator and you want to start installing this grass for your customers. I'll give you links to him. He will put you in touch with the certified grower nearest you, and you can have this installed by this weekend. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the lawn.